Hi, it's Chris from Epix Systems here. This is a quick guide on how to issue jobs out in bulk to your operatives. Issuing in bulk could be useful for you if you've got several jobs at a single status, say for example awaiting allocation. Maybe you've imported a selection of jobs from your client, or perhaps via the interface that you may have with your client you've imported several jobs and you want to hand those out to a particular operatives grouped, say, by trade. So good examples of this are where you've had electrical testing jobs sent over in big batches. It might be that you want to issue an entire street of jobs to a single operative for a certain day. In order to use this, you're going to need a menu item that's usually labelled issue bulk. Now under my test system here, this is found under the create menu and it's there, issue bulk. Now of course this could be underneath perhaps your jobs menu, might even be under operative management. If you don't have the menu item, then you'll need to request that of us and we can add that very easily to individual users. So once you click on that, you get a screen that looks a little bit like this. So what this screen is showing us is showing us a list of jobs that are currently filtered by the status of awaiting allocation, because I've set my issue bulk menu item to show me those jobs. Of course, if you've got yours sitting at a status of perhaps awaiting scheduling, then we can make your menu item behave like that too, so it automatically shows you the ones that you want to see first. However, we can also use the status filter here by clicking on the word status to change that to any status you want. So say for example we wanted to change this to a status of scheduling, awaiting scheduling there, and I press update filters. And this of course would then list any jobs that might be at that status there. So I'm just going to put that back by editing our status again to awaiting allocation, and I'm going to update filters. So of course you've just seen how I've easily manipulated the filters there to change the status that we're looking at. Of course you could do the same thing based upon customer. You could do region, specific assets or addresses, or you could even do, say, the postcode containing, so you could select things, say for example the first 4 letters of a postcode. Or you could go with a address containing and choose a particular street name if you wish. I'm going to do trade for today, and I'm going to select jobs for the electrical trade. So I shall press update filters. So now what we're looking at here is a list of jobs that are at awaiting allocation but for the trade electrician. Now the list has got 3 fields that we can do something with. So the attend on, this date that's shown in here, if I click onto one of these jobs, you can see on the job sheet here that the target date for this job is the 9th of the 5th. So if I go back to our report, that 9th of the 5th is the job's target date. So ideally you wouldn't change that because the target date is what's been set by the job when it was created. But you could of course change this to issue it to a specific date. So for example, if this was due on a particular date, then going forward you could move that to a date, say, before it, and that would be okay, and usually would be fine with KPIs. And if we then tick the appointment tick box, the appointment box allows you to specify whether this is an appointment, and that will just display ever so slightly differently on the engineer or the operative's handheld device. So they'll get a little icon for the alarm clock against that job to indicate that it's an actual appointment. So any jobs that you want to issue, you tick issue. If you wanted to issue them all, there's a button down here for select all, and that will tick them all. And if you wanted to apply an appointment to, say, just these 2 jobs here, then we could do that by ticking just those 2. Once you've got your list of jobs ready to issue to the engineer, you choose the engineer from the list here. And once you're ready, you can press issue selected, and by pressing issue selected, those jobs have now disappeared, and you get a little message at the top here to indicate what's just happened. So we've just issued 10 jobs to our operative. So those have all disappeared now. If you wanted to carry on and, say, remove filters and do a different trade, of course you could do by pressing update filters, and you could start again. Now those jobs of course will now be at status issued, and will be in the operative diary for the operative that you've just chosen. Any questions on that at all? Don't hesitate to give us a shout.